Good morning, pregame crew. It is Tuesday, November 23rd, week of Thanksgiving. It's 8:23 a.m. Eastern, 6:23 Mountain Time. I'm Charkow Lori. You're at the pregame show. Hey, Shane. Hey, Lisa, George, Mustang, Roger, Night Truck, Flash Gordon, Wabinka, Dino, Dawn, Tamazon. Hi, Jerome. Yeah, if you could hit that like button, I'd appreciate it. Hit the subscribe button. It's going to be a great day. I know. Y'all come here and y'all want some amazing Queen of the Mountains. I've got some setups for you, but same thing as yesterday. I'm not seeing this amazing volatility, which of course the FOMC announcement of Jay Powell staying as the Fed Reserve Chairman caused a tiny little bit of volatility. But again, I'm seeing low pre-market volume and things just aren't as flashy as they normally are. And that tells you pump the brakes. Thanks, Chuck. Hey, Patrick. Hey, Scott. Sarah and the Strat. Sarah is amazing. The Strat is a wonderful, straightforward process for trading. It's a system. I have one fault of the Strat. And let me show y'all what he's asking me about. So here I am on Twitter, Charkow Lori, and then there's Sarah. She's our friend. She's part of Chart Guys. Sarah started this Twitter page. She has over 50,000 followers, and she has this document on the Strat, which was created by Rob Black. And basically, you look at things like an inside bar, or you look at candle shapes and you see how they break and it triggers you into a trade. And to me, it's really straightforward and it's a great process for people struggling to find a system. The fault I have with it is there are other variables that Rob doesn't acknowledge. And I think that Sarah does a great job of acknowledging that there are technical analysis variables outside of the Strat. And I think combining what you learn at Chart Guys and our approach with the Strat is a great way to trade. So that's my opinion. Night Truck, I don't think they can hit the dislike button anymore, can they? Hey, Sarah, Jorge, Goff, Zia, Roger, Ben, Adam. How are you? How are you? I'm going to take a sip of water. Does anyone have a request? I'll go over ES for Shane. Don't worry about that. And all you new members of TCG, thank you. Okay, real quick, I'm looking for something. We'll get started here in just a second. Found it. Just took me forever. All right, if you're interested in a membership with the Chart Guys, we have our Black Friday special running this week. It is $100 off. You get a hoodie, a mouse pad, the back burner indicator for TradingView, and the trading strategy webinar. And discount code, promo code is BLACK, BLK. BLK. Will Russell ever balance? We shall see. All right, I'm just going to pick a few of these. Hey, Night Truck, let me do CCJ for you. And we will get started on the indices, crypto, commodities, and movers and shakers of the day in a couple of minutes. CCJ is pulling back a little bit more than what the bulls would like to see. We've lost the daily uptrend. We have not lost the weekly uptrend. Weekly support 2341, key level. Looks like it's getting a little bit of a bounce in pre-market. You're going to want to see it hold 2472 on any pullback. These levels happen in after hours. Maybe this one had a little bit of volume, but not a ton of volume. What happens during regular trading hours is definitely more important than what happens in after hours. So 2472 is that key support. Key resistance 2553. So when you look at the range yesterday, 2463. What was that? 2472. Oh, the low happened here. My bad. 2463. That was the low of yesterday, and the high 2553. So let's see if bulls are going to bangarang within that, or are they going to get a break? Up or down? We will go over IWM. Tesla, we will go over that. PayPal has been getting swatted. Daily RSI is 25. Weekly RSI 27. I posted a trade setup yesterday and I took it myself in the chat room. And I was looking for this 183.54 level to hold, and we hit 184.28, and I got a pretty decent scalp out of that. So we had a large range yesterday. So let's stick with that inside bar concept. We're opening up in the middle of yesterday's range. I think it'd actually be a win for the PayPal bulls if they could stay within yesterday's range and not break down again, because they love making lower lows on the day. So that would be a win, an inside bar. And of course, a bull break over the high of yesterday would be a huge win for the bulls. James, that's cute. All right, it's 8:30 Eastern. I'm Chart Gal Lori. You have found yourself at the pregame show, and I go over the markets, what happened overnight, and we just kind of get a plan or structure for the day. I try to find setups that may play out in the day, they may not. Just kind of give you a few things to watch for during the day. Of course, this is a holiday week. The U.S. markets will be closed on Thursday and half day Friday. Of course, futures will be open a part of the day on Thursday. So volatility is just overall down. FOMC announcement yesterday created a little bit of volatility, but not a ton. So let's look at where we are. So if you're interested in my chart setup, it's on the screen now. I'm going to delete it, make things a little bit cleaner for us. The yellow bars are just inside bars, where it's like a Russian nesting doll, where the range, so now we're on the hourly chart. So this candle that I'm hovering over stayed within the prior hour's candle, and that makes it an inside bar. So what I'm looking at from our all-time high that was just achieved, what was that? Yesterday? Yeah, yesterday at 8 a.m. We had a new all-time high to the low over after hours to happen at midnight, 465450. If we draw fib retracement, 468725 is the 0.382 retracement right here. And all that means is this little bounce on, let me do it on the 2 hour. This looks like a bear flag. So we have to be careful. We need to get up and over 468725 in order to negate the potential 2 hour bear flag on ES. On the 4 hour, I'm going to take this off now. The bulls have to be a little pleased with this lower wick of bulls buying the dip, but this is in no means any type of recovery. The bulls have a lot of work to do on shorter term time frames. On larger time frames, we're still in a daily uptrend, and we are safely within a weekly uptrend, as in it would have to be something catastrophic to bring it straight down and break this 4260. So Shane, I didn't understand your question about the 4640, I believe, that you asked as a support. I don't see that. Hourly oversold, let's see what that would be. Hourly oversold would be around 4650. So that would be an area that I would definitely be interested in. So 4250, that's right below, 4650, right below that 4654. That would be hourly oversold, which is typically a good place to scout a daily higher low when you get hourly oversold. Let me go to US 10-year. Oh, that's a problem. So we broke bull, got a higher high on this 12-hour on US 10-year. And I've been talking to y'all about the US 10-year for a few weeks now, explaining to you the importance of this bullish formation or development in US 10-year. And it is a headwind for Nasdaq bulls. Nasdaq companies have the largest market cap. When the US 10-year starts going up, that puts pressure on the feds to raise the interest rate. Higher interest rates decrease the value of any company, but it really impacts large companies like Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, Facebook, because their market cap is so high, and it decreases their discounted cash flows. So US 10-year bullish is bearish for NQ. US 10-year and QQQ are typically inverse. So odds favor a lower high. So typically, let me show you. When you go to higher low, higher high, lower low, and you bounce up, typically you get a lower high versus a higher high. Now, of course, probably on shorter term time frames, you could get, well, this isn't ideal, but some type of broadening formation, which is what we see when we typically see these. Go back to the 12-hour. Higher low, higher high, lower low, higher high. You typically get these broadening formations. So we'll see what happens, but this is a bearish development for Nasdaq, this 12-hour higher high on the US 10-year. Nasdaq could still be a bear flag. Let's get those calculations like we did with the ES. A bear flag, 1646250. We would have to get a candle close above this level in order to negate a bear flag on a little bit higher time frame. So like on the 4-hour, we could bounce all the way to 16462 and it still be a bear flag. So the Nasdaq bulls are definitely not out of the woods yet. Hourly just skirted oversold yesterday. We actually didn't cross that 30 threshold. That would be interesting if we were to break this and really get nice and oversold on the hourly on Nasdaq. And what we're looking for is that daily high or low. So an hourly oversold situation on Nasdaq where it actually gets oversold could be interesting, scouting that daily high or low for NQ. RTY. It finally got a 30-minute trend change to the bulls with a potential volume climax yesterday here. I'm interested RTY long since we've returned to this high volume area, the base that formed for months, and we're approaching the daily 50 MA. So here's the daily 50 MA. Here's the vol climax. And then we are entering this area that we tightened since February. So for 8 or 9 months, we tightened in this base, we popped out of it, and now we're coming back to test that base again. So 2312 could be an area where it would get interesting. Actually, we crossed that to 2306. Look at the daily. Yeah, we crossed that. Never mind. We are back. Basically, we're back in this area where we tightened for months, and so I'm interested in a long on RTY, and the hourly got oversold, and I posted my entry in the futures channel within the room. Oh, good, Ted. I'm glad that benefited you. Google's hurting you, Robert. Let's look at that real quick, and then I'll get back to Dow. So this was actually my drawing from nope, this was from Friday. This was my drawing from pregame, looking for that lower high, and that's exactly what happened. So let's look on the daily. On the daily, it's not as clear as I'd like. On the weekly, we're in a clear weekly uptrend, and 4 hours not close to being oversold. Hourly, just skirted oversold. So 2956 is really that first level to get over for a potential hourly trend change. Yesterday's high, 2996. I was going to say the odds favor an inside bar, but we're actually opening near the lower end of this range. So actually odds favor a bear break. We're definitely closer to the low end of this range than we are the high range. So Google doesn't look great on shorter term time frames, but on long term time frames, it's a bullish chart. Back to Dow. So Dow got the 30-minute higher high by $3. Not convincing yet because we couldn't get over this 35614. And if you look at these 30-minute time frames on a lot of these futures charts, they have some less than stellar but still potential inverse head and shoulders pattern on the 30-minute for most of the futures. Look at ES, 30-minute IHS. Nasdaq it doesn't have an IHS. Again, it's struggling more than others. RTY, a little bit of an inverse head and shoulders. And then the Dow, inverse head and shoulders. So definitely Nasdaq is the weakest. Nasdaq needs US 10-year to sit down in order to get going. So this is, man, we're just getting broadening formations everywhere. We're getting these lower high, higher low, higher high, lower low, higher high. And who's going to reach exhaustion first, taking these extreme measures versus staying within a tightening range? They're trying to take each other out, and it just ends up in exhaustion on the party trying to take the other one out. So now we are stuck within the middle of this range. Key resistance 57825, key support 55896. Lots of false signals on Bitcoin. Again, why would they do that? Why would you go get a higher high over this level and then reverse it? You collect a lot of fees when you run those stops. Same thing here. Broadening formations, especially in Coinbase, benefit Coinbase. Ethereum, same thing. Higher high, lower low, fake outs. Your key resistance 4241, support 4062. This is a pretty large range. We may stay within this range today. Gold is just absolutely getting beat up. I can't even draw lines fast enough. It just keeps breaking lows. So the daily 50 MA is at 1790. Yes, we do, Robert. We need the 10-year to go down. So the 50 MA is at 1790. We are oversold on the 4-hour. RSI is at 19. I am looking for a short-term bounce in gold, but as Dan said on the weekend video that was for Chart Guys members only, that now he was looking for that potential monthly lower high to be set, especially now with this week's action. We got this upper wick of profit taken. Hourly RSI 18. 12-hour RSI is approaching oversold. So I'm looking for a short-term bounce, but on lots of time frames, any bounce would just be looking for a lower high on the 12-hour, on the hourly. So gold is really getting beat up. You may be able to get an oversold bounce, but that's for ninjas only. Oversold bounces, or in general counter trend trades, are for ninjas only. Oil's getting a little pop this morning, so we had lots of headlines overnight. Biden and his administration is wanting to bring down gas prices, and they plan on releasing reserves. India announced they're going to release like 5 million barrels of reserves. Forget the number, but it's a large number basically. So that typically would be bearish for oil, and we call that FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. So we got a lot of FUD hitting oil, and it's actually getting a reverse reaction, which is pretty interesting, or inverse reaction. Resistance 77.16, support 75.30, 75.13. Nat Gas. Nat Gas has been naughty. We had this falling wedge on the 12-hour time frame. The drawings are not correct, but the pattern is. And we got just a tiny lower low yesterday without a lot of follow through, and then bounce. So now where do we tighten within here? And can we break above 5156 to confirm this pattern? We broke above here and then just came right back into it. So Nat Gas is struggling. As far as seasonality, this should be the bullish time, but we know we have to follow charts and not the weather. Apple, hourly oversold on watch for daily higher low. So we definitely got a bearish reversal candle with a huge upper wick of profit taking on Apple yesterday. So now we have that pullback. Just trying to bounce in pre-market. Yep. It's already negating this bear flag. Man, Apple has been so bullish. Even this ideal setup, the bulls gave the bears when they just stepped away from the bid and the bears took over. And now they can't even confirm a bear flag. And after hours, bulls are buying that dip. So your next key resistance is going to be 163.04. Prior support could serve as resistance, and then 164.28. So I don't know that we're going to get that hourly oversold conditions. You see I have my alert set here in case it does get hourly oversold. I'll leave it on just in case I get the opportunity. AMC, we have an hourly EQ and a daily EQ. I was trading game yesterday. It had a nice 30-minute EQ and it broke bull. So I don't know if this 4150 had any after hours level. I would say 41.50 is a level. I don't know how important it is. 42.48 is that level to look above for that hourly EQ potential bull break. And on the daily chart, we have an EQ as well. And as I always like to share with y'all, we are holding that 50 RSI. Okay, I'm going to take a break from charts and I'm going to show you just a slight quick presentation how trading is like baking. I've been obsessed with the Great British Bake Off, and I've had this analogy pop in my head before, but even more so since I've been watching this baking show, how much trading is like baking. I love to bake. I don't bake a lot because I don't want to eat it. I don't want to let myself eat it, but I love to bake, and baking has a precision to it. My mother is a terrible baker. She's terrible. She does not own measuring cups or measuring spoons, or even she doesn't even know how to work the timer on her oven. She's a terrible baker because it requires so much precision, it doesn't interest her. I don't like to cook, but I love to bake. How is baking like trading? It's a lot like trading. Trading and baking require precision and a plan. You must prep. You got to find the recipes, i.e. the trading setups. You got to grocery shop, i.e. get your charts ready, get your orders ready, get your brokerage platform up and ready. You got to preheat the oven, prepare ingredients, then combine the ingredients in the right order. You can't place that cake in the oven before it's preheated. And that's what I tell y'all all the time about just blindly entering, saying, oh, Lori said something about AMC. I'm just going to hit market buy at open. No, you have to have a setup. What temperature does AMC need to be? So if you're going to position yourself bullishly, you would say, I want to back test this 4071 with a little 2-minute trend change and put my stop below the low of day, or that 4071. You have to have a plan. The chart has to be just right, kind of like Goldilocks, before you enter a trade. Same thing, your cake can't enter the oven if the oven is not preheated and at the right temperature. Baking time oversights required to ensure it's not undercooked or overcooked. Entries, so your entries need to be precise and based on a trigger, a level plus a trend change, a pattern confirmation. Exits need to be precise as well. I think a lot of emphasis gets put on entries in trading, which they are very important, but I would say exits are equally important. Exits are super important because you have to offset all those other times that you were wrong. So when you have a winner, you have to scale out at resistances if you're long, at support if you're short. So overall, our exits need to be precise and based on a trigger, just like with baking. Trade oversight, you have to watch that trade and think in case things go awry. I mean, things could just go off the rails, your oven stop working, or your oven start getting overheated. You must be aware of any meaningful variables that could impact your trade. So with baking, if you're at 6,000 foot elevation, you have to factor that in and maybe add more eggs. Same thing, if it's a FOMC meeting day, you need to know that. That's a variable that will impact your trading. And you must always conduct post-mortem to find things you can do better next time that you trade. You have to reflect. Every time I bake, if I burn cookies, I'm like, oh, I used the thin pan, I didn't use the thick pan, and I mentally file it away, and then the next time I'm not going to make that mistake. Same thing in trading. We have to do that review. So I thought it was a apropos time to talk about baking since it is Thanksgiving week. All right, let's get back to charts. AMD, I was looking for an hourly back burner, but again, it's getting a little bounce in pre-market, and that hourly oversold level would be around 14756. So what you could do is say, okay, it's bouncing, but if things were to reverse, tell me when we get to what did I say, 147.70. Then I know we're in the hourly oversold area. Of course, you can always put it on hourly RSI itself versus the number. But I was looking for hourly back burner. We're getting a little bit too much of a bounce in pre-market for that to be a trade, at least within the first 2 hours of the day. Dkng. So Dkng, this is something Dan posted. I thought was a great setup, so I copied it. Dkng, rounding bottom. Triple top of resistance will break on a break of 37.57. So this level has to break. If you break 37.43, no dice. You break 37.45, no dice. You gotta break 37.57 in order for it to be convincing. Your next resistance would be 38.59, support 36.55, 35.82. This is my Queen of the Mountain trade today. I haven't fixed my charts over here. I'm going to replace game with Dkng. I love this setup for potentially to go long. Mara looking for that weekly high or low. We have daily support right here for a level to bottom fish. So yesterday we hit 48.39. Man, we're bouncing already good in pre-market. So yesterday we hit 48.39 and your support of 47.41 held. Again, we're looking for that weekly high or low. And 4 hour just skirted oversold here. If we could get that 4 hour oversold today, that would be great. So just like we were looking at Bitcoin and Ethereum, we got these lower lows, no follow through. And here we didn't quite get a higher high because this wasn't open overnight. And then we're sharply pulling back here. So Mara, potential daily bottom fish. Nvidia, same thing as Apple and AMD. The plan was to use it as a back burner trade for the first hourly oversold since we're coming off the all-time high, which was just yesterday. So this still may be a pretty good trade today. So I would say my number one trade, Queen of the Mountain, Dkng, and the second would be Nvidia because we're a little closer to oversold. And Tesla, I like bullish. So we have this little EQ pattern. I'm not going to, the 1143, I have it marked, but that was happening on very little volume. The numbers we need to know: resistance 1190.94 and support 1132.43. And we had some bullish news that there's some type of model, the Y model maybe, that's getting delivered to China. That news came out this morning. Again, this chart, I was bullish yesterday, got a good pop, I sold, and we pulled back, but we finished decently and green compared to everybody else who got whacked pretty hard at the end of the day. So that's all of my tickers. Now let me see what you want to annotate our own charts. See what you want to look at. So MA, someone asked me about MA. Hey Veronica, I would use Binance or Coinbase. Coinbase is very expensive, the fees. It's a little more reliable for US citizens, and then Binance is probably the easiest broker platform to use for crypto. All right, so someone was asking about MA. I don't know where you're, okay, there you go. Daily broadening formation, yep. Daily broadening formation. Yesterday we got a lower low. That's actually a pretty clean pattern. But still on any bounce, we'd be looking for a daily lower high. But you may, is there any support to bottom fish here? 321.10. Yesterday, 319.76. So we have 320 psychological, and then below that, 312.38. If we were to get to 312.38, I would say this broadening formation broke bear. So yeah, it's a decent one to look at. And we would have a 15-minute trend change, I would say, if we get over 324.95. But we would still expect an hourly lower high. Or day, not breaking yesterday's high. What was yesterday's high? We had a large range. That's what I'm trying to say. Huge range. Yeah, 6% range yesterday. So we could just finish today with an inside candle. We are closer to a bear break than we are a bull break. But yeah, I like that pattern. Amazon. I'm a little worried about your comment, Flippy Gat, on Tilray praying for a bounce. You need to have a plan. Got to have a plan. These marijuana stocks can chew you up and spit you out better than others. 4 hour didn't get oversold. We are looking for that daily oversold, daily high or low with the hourly oversold. We got oversold yesterday and we got a little bit of a bounce. So now this setup is not as appealing. Do you see how Apple is more appealing? So Amazon got hourly oversold yesterday. Apple didn't even get close yesterday. So I would be more apt to buy a pullback on Apple than Amazon because Amazon had its oversold glory yesterday. I'm making you hungry. Okay, Tilray and then Mana, and then we're done. It's been a long few months. getting up so early, but y'all know I do love it, but I am a little tired this week. Support 1022, 1016. So we got to hold this 1016. We must hold it. If we drop below 1010, then below 998, it's getting really, really ugly. Just be careful holding these marijuana names. They can really hurt you. Hourly got oversold yesterday, so it already had its little dead cat bounce yesterday. So I don't know what the bulls will be able to pull off today. It needs to get over 1066 as a start. Mana, and I'm done. If you could hit the like button for me, that would be great. Mana is a rock star. We have resistance at 436, and last night we hit 430. Got to get over 436 to break that daily higher high. Hourly is getting these tiny, tiny higher highs with very little follow through, so be careful with that. All right, that's it for me. Thank you for joining me, and if you're interested in becoming a TCG member, here is our Black Friday special. You get TCG hoodie, mouse pad, back burner, and trading strategy webinar with code BLK. All right, y'all use stop losses.